Just B being the first one in the chat. How's it going, Just Bree? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Hey, Romina. How's it been going, Romina? We got Marissa. We got Mo Love as well. Man, I'm just chilling. I'm chilling in the studio. I'm just waiting for my daughter. She went to like the bookstore with her friend, and I'm like, want to go home, but she's not ready yet. Life as a father, you know, just a driver. We good though. How we doing, man? How we feeling? How we blessing? How we favored? Number one chill spot on the internet, man. We haven't really been here that much. You know, my apologies, but we just be doing life. Life be lifing sometimes, you know, different priorities, different things going on. We live a whole life. So, you know, we're here when we're here. You understand? It's beautiful. We got After the Fall here as well. We got Adele here. Shout out to the real ones. Shout out to the day ones. Everybody here is a real one. Who else do we got? We got Kyle. Nice to see you, Kyle. We got Ajlay here. Be productive. Romina says, been busy. Man, ain't we all? We all been so busy these days, aren't we? I hope it's a good type of busy though, right? Like a busy that's like fulfilling, you know, a busy with intention, you know, a busy that is, you know, mission driven and focused and, you know, placing our energy in the direction that matters. So, woo! Yo, Said, you changed your username. What's going on with that? You got a new branding? Hey, actually, I just seen you be going hard on the videos right now. I gotta watch your hair journey video. I just saw that. I need to tap in. We got Dougie here as well. How's it going, Dougie? We got a lot of tea. You know, I've been going so hard on the teas lately, a lot of pu'er teas, but today we have a nice little Emperor Delight. I wish you could smell that right now, but I'm gonna need you to just imagine the smell. Just like imagine it in your mind. It's very royal, you know? It's almost as if it was like planted in the Emperor's like personal, you know, hills. I've been actually like going to my local Chinese tea shops and like just sitting down with them and having them like teach me as much as they can. I just go there and I'll just be like a student with my little notepad. I'm like, okay, and where is this tea from? And oh, this is from Yunnan, okay, and this okay. And one guy actually taught me about how to tell what kind of teapot is for what kind of tea, and it's actually all about the sound when you drop it down. So I'm learning so much, you understand? I'm like, I want to be a tea master. That's gonna be like my new thing. Dog, you gotta fly out here and design my studio. Yo, Said, hit me up. I'm actually down to do something like that if we film the whole process, because I think that could be something that I do for others as well. I love creating. That's like what I want to do later in life, is creating spaces, you know, creating vibes. Yeah, let's get your space popping, bro. Let's get your space popping. Someone said, you changed so much, but in a great way. Face all chiseled and intentional. Is my face more chiseled? I like that. Thank you. My face more chiseled. But I never had like a chubby face before. What are you saying? Oh man, that smells good. Yeah, we need a link, bro. We need a link, bro. For sure. I'll make it happen. And then you gotta also, I really want to host you in my city, Said, in the summertime. I think like we'll have like a great time. You gotta book that off. in the summertime come out. Because this might be, no, I like summers in my city. I was going to say it's the last year I'm in my city, but nah. I did the blissful energy and the notification. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Have you taken any classes on interior design? I really should, but I haven't. You know what's crazy? I think I have natural, like very sensitive senses. So I can look at something and really like create a good vibe or even smell something. I have really good senses. Like I was watching a documentary of like Sushi Master, and he was saying, listen, he's like, hard work will get you very far, but he's like, some people just have like natural senses that you just, at the end of the day, if they apply that hard work and those natural senses together, he's like, they're like unbeatable. And I think I really do have natural senses. And now I'm like in this season of my life where I'm like, I need to go deeper into things and learn from the greats in many different ways. Like I've been drinking tea for 10 years, maybe 13 years. And I realized I've only dipped my toe into the tea. I never actually really immersed myself fully in the history and the culture. And now we're just dipping that toe now. So, you know, we're going deeper into things this season. Definitely leveling up. Definitely we've been in a learning season. Very nerding out this season. Only if I can play Not Like Us entire time. Don't worry, bro. I've dropped Drake. For context, me and my brother, like while Drake and Kendrick Lamar were going at it. Because I'm Canadian and he's from Compton, it just made sense, you know, just like good rivalry. Now, obviously, Kendrick demolished Drake and he just wouldn't let it go. But I've had to just let go of Drake. I just had to let go of Drake. Still a legend, but you can play Not Like Us. Go ahead, I don't care. Go ahead, I don't care. If I'm ever in Canada, I hope I bump into you. Lots of people bump into me. I bump into lots of people in the streets. I'm always actually surprised that when people recognize me, very rarely do they ever question if it's me. It's always like right away. Like people will be in a car and be like, Heinz. I'm like, there's other people though with like dreadlocks in my skin complexion. Like how do people just know it's me? So I'm clearly very easy to spot out. Very easy to spot out. Hey, Yafet says, Heinz, you've been on a sabbatical. Man, I've been doing a lot of different stuff. Definitely the studio just hasn't been the main priority. I thought I was going to be in the studio a lot more already, but you know what's crazy too? There's been like a lot of Pro D days for my daughter. She got another Pro D day this week. Last week she had a 4-day weekend, and like it'd be throwing my schedule off a lot. I'd be thinking I'm coming here, and then she's like, I ain't got no school today. I'm like, what? What's going on? What's going on? Anyways, we're gonna have some tea. I got the Emperor's Delight. Very potent. I got this from the tea master Daniel. He's fire. I sat down. I paid this guy for like an hour of his time. I was like, yo, I just want you to teach me as much as you know. And then I was like, yo, do you take students? He's like, I'm too busy for students. I'm like, well, I'm gonna come back every 2 weeks and pay you for an hour of your time. He's like, all right, bet. All right, bet. You understand? I'm making friends with all the little old Chinese people in my city that own tea shops. You know what I'm saying? Vibes. We got ML3 in the building. Just discovered your content about a month ago. Amazing and very encouraging. Thank you, my brother. I'm actually really happy that more like men are diving into the content. Obviously, it's like more of a majority in the analytics. It's about 65%, 70% women, and then 30% men. But I've been noticing there's been an uptick in men, which I love, just to have like more brothers in the channel as well. Obviously, I love my ladies too, but it's just nice to see the brothers tap in as well. I feel like some men be like almost like some like are like, yo, I'm tapping in, but I feel like some at first are like almost like afraid to admit they like watch me or something. Because, you know, the content's like we're very calm, we're very chill, we're very collective. You understand? Someone in my comments was like, oh, you're too calm, you should do jiu-jitsu. I'm like, bro, I'm just a chill, calm guy. What's going on? Who cares? Hey, you be dropping gems, Adele says. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we have a nice little tea today. At home, I wish man, if I could show y'all, make sure you're following me on Instagram because then you can see like all my tea stuff at home. But if I could show you my new tea setups at home, absolutely crazy. I've been going deep. This is a small setup. Normally I got like a nice big beautiful tea tray. Actually, I do have one here. My homie sells these ones. I got this one, but it's a little bit too big for this space. But you know what? I think we could use this one right now. We could rock with this for a second. Why not? Shout out to my brother Pure Land Tea over there in, I believe he's in San Francisco, right? I believe so. Let me get myself organized. Yeah, we're gonna have some tea right now. There we go, there we go, there we go. There we go. There we go. Not gonna lie, I think I've been drinking more tea these days than I've been eating food, but I've been drinking a lot of tea. I actually connected with this guy who's got amazing teas. He has a farm out in Korea, and I actually talked to him about doing my own blend. It's very possible. He's like, yeah, if you want to do a blend, I'll help you do it. And they got high grade teas. They even work, actually even Whole Foods. Whole Foods just did a whole documentary on his farm because it's like one of the best farms. So that may be an option for us soon. Someone says, how do you keep it warm? Do you have candies inside? What do you mean, do I have candy? Yo, from the brothers, yeah. Adam be consistent. I love Adam consistent. Man, I feel so bad we haven't been doing the study streams. I hope y'all forgive me. But I know you do. No, you do, because y'all are very gracious, as I am. We're on like a similar frequency of soul. That's why we hang out. That's why we attract one another. After the Vol says, I'm not afraid of your calmness. I actually need that vibe in my life right now. Yeah, I remember like one homie of mine, like when I blew up on YouTube, I love my tea. You know, I really just be sipping my tea. And he's like, aren't you afraid that like, if you're just like drinking tea in videos and everything, he's like, aren't you afraid that people are gonna think you're soft? I'm like, are you that fragile in your masculinity that you have to like walk around pretending like you're a lion beating your chest? I'm like, why would that even be a thought in my mind? Oh no, people are gonna think I'm less masculine because I like to drink tea. I don't even think like that. I'm just myself undeniably. So the ones that love me come closer, and the ones that don't, go somewhere else. I'm like, what a weird thought. I'm like, bro, why are you projecting on me? I'm like, you need to think about that. Why do you think like that? Nice. Yeah, so beautiful thing about having a nice tea tray is obviously it goes down into the tray, right? So you can really warm the pot up, bless everything else. ML3 says, tea never been soft. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, why you... It's just a weird thought, you know? You know when people like project their own stuff onto you? I'm like, bro, if you want some tea, just come have some tea, man. Sit down. They never been to England. They never been to England. They ain't been to China. They ain't been to Japan. They ain't been to... Kenya is the third biggest manufacturer for black tea. You know, the second most popular drink in the world that is consumed is tea next to water. It goes tea, then water. It's even bigger than coffee. You would think it's more popular. You'd think coffee's more popular, but it's not. Tea's drank all over the world. First steep, we're just gonna rinse the leaves. We're gonna warm them up. You understand? Just get them real. A lot of flavors to get out there, you know. Nice little wash. Most teas, you just want to give it a nice wash the first one, and then, yeah, we want to have a nice little smell. Very potent, very beautiful. Also, I highly recommend you need a kettle that you can control the temperature of your tea, right? Because if you're drinking like some greens you need to have it at 80 degrees Celsius. I think in Celsius because I'm Canadian, so I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. I have like these thin needle teas that actually you brew them at 65, and then the my pours, those are basically at boiling. I do it at 95, but you can do it at 100. And then the oolong, well, I've been playing around with different temperatures. I actually have a tea journal now, so I actually like log my experiences. We be nerding out. Brother B, you're asking about live streaming. Yeah, I think you should get into live streaming. If you think about it, with this like whole new like AI wave, which we still need to have a stream about and talk about, because some of you be in my comments just attacking me about AI stuff. If I just like use it a little bit, some of you be like, someone commented, they're like, I was a big supporter of you, but now I can't support you because you used AI in a 5-second clip. And I'm like, you weren't a big supporter. You weren't a big supporter. I'm sure you use ChatGPT. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, yeah, if you think about this like next AI wave that's happening right now, and like you're not going to be able to question what is real, you can AI a live stream, but I still think a live stream is deeply human, and it is going to be one of the main new formats. I mean, look at the most popular formats of content right now. Ooh, I steeped that too long. Got distracted. My apologies. It's all good. It's going to be a little bit stronger, but that's all right. But if you do look at the largest forms of content right now, it's like these streamers, right? Now, of course, they do things that are like really like big and stuff like that. I'm not into that. I'm just into the chill vibes. But I was talking to someone the other day who went live, and they're like, oh man, I only had like 5 viewers, 10 viewers. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Because think about if someone tunes into one of your live streams for like, let's say even 30 minutes to an hour, how many TikTok videos would they have to watch to equal 30 minutes of watch time, right? A lot. Every TikTok's like about 15 seconds. That's 2 a minute. That's 60 TikToks they would have to watch just to get like 20 minutes or so in, right? So when someone sits down with you and watches one of your live streams, Brother B, they're actually spending real time with you, right? That's, in my personal opinion, that's how you're going to be able to create an audience. Short form content will send out the signal, right? Will catch the interest. But when you go on TikTok, when you go on Reels, you mostly go on those platforms and search for that type of content because you're just killing some time, right? You're just scrolling. You're not really going for meaningful connection. But anybody that tunes into, like, let's say my live stream, even if it's just 50 people, they're clicking on the live stream because they're like, you know what? I'm going to like have a meaningful moment. I'm going to hang out for a moment, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Heck, sometimes we're here for 2 hours. We've done a study stream for 4 hours, right? 4 hours. How many TikTok videos would someone have to watch to equal 4 hours in a stream? A lot. It's just never going to happen, right? So that's why I'm a believer in short form content, not short form, live stream content. And the more you do it, the better you get. Brother B, I'm actually dropping information, lessons and experience around live streaming in January. So a lot of people have been asking me about different things. So I've been working behind the scenes to create some things, and they're dropping in January. So Marisa says, I want to live stream, but you need a certain amount of subscribers. Yeah, you are right. You can live stream on Twitch with 0 subscribers. Yeah, that's good. You can live stream on Twitch with a certain amount of subscribers. I randomly got $50 from Twitch last month. I don't know why. I haven't even been live streaming there, but they just sent me $50. I'm like, maybe I need to go back to Twitch. January, just in time for my birthday, Romina says, hey, top of the year birthday, that's fire. You get that like fresh new energy. I love that. My birthday is in March, so I'm not too far away. Andre says, thoughts on AI taking away creativity from us? You said our highest form of nutrition is in our expression. Yeah, I think if you are a creative at heart, and I think if you decide, first off, let's get something straight. Like AI is already implemented into so many tools. Anybody that uses CapCut and uses the effects in CapCut, man, this tea is good. Hold up. CapCut and TikTok has infused AI in their platforms for a moment, right? The type of effects you can do on TikTok, just with the masking and the green screening, and on CapCut, that used to take so much time in After Effects that people like After Effects is like one of the, in my personal opinion, just in like basic video editing software, After Effects is very difficult. Like I tried multiple times to like dive deep into After Effects. I just got so bored. It wasn't for me. Then CapCut came out, TikTok came out, allowing you to do all these crazy effects without ever stepping foot in After Effects. Nobody flinched. Nobody cared, right? People normally only care about the AI conversation when it directly affects them, which makes sense. I think we should have pushback. I don't trust Sam Altman. I think he's very, I don't want to use that language, but I think that we should question him. But when it comes to AI, I see it in ways how I would use it and how I don't want to use it, right? If it's going to decrease my abilities, then I don't want to use it. Am I ever going to AI myself and have an AI speak for me? No. Why? Because I want to become a better speaker. You know what I'm saying? I want to become a better speaker. It's interesting because like nobody really flinches at everyone adopting ChatGPT and using it for writing if they're refining it. I've seen a lot of people go to war on threads to use ChatGPT as a therapist, saying therapy is too expensive. But if somebody went out into the world right now and said animators are too expensive, people would just flip out. I did a video where I lost my AirPods, right? And the title's called I Got Robbed. I dropped my AirPods, someone took them, and I had to track them down that day. Fun video. Now, when I made the video, I realized I'm like, man, like no one's gonna understand like really what this day felt like. I need visuals, right? And I made that video in the exact same 40 hours of when that event happened. Why? Because like I was in the moment. I'm like, I want to tell this story. So I used Midjourney to create some visuals to reenact images. It took me a long time. It took me like 2 days, right? Put out the video. 90% of the comments, people were like, yo, I think this was a really good use of AI. The other 10% were people were like, I'm done with you, Heinz. Screw you, F you. People get real mean. Someone messaged me 2 days ago telling me to go to hell. I'm like, what did I do? It's just like the life of having like a public persona. Anyways, hold up one second. Someone commented like, oh, I just wish he would have hired an animator. Well, I wouldn't have. I would have never have hired an animator for that. Why? Because it would have took me 6 months, probably 2 to 3 months to find the animator, spend about $30,000 on the animator, go back and forth. The story wasn't that important enough to bring somebody else in. When I designed my cards, I hired a designer. Why? Because the project called for it, right? I think AI can actually empower creators who don't have budgets to do certain things that they would have never hired someone for anyways, because one, it wouldn't have made sense, and two, it just doesn't make sense. That's how much, right? When I did that video, there's no chance in hell I would ever hire an animator for that type of video. I wanted it made in 48 hours or else I would have never told the story, right? Now, if I'm doing a bigger project, would I hire an animator? Of course. Why? Because AI can't get it right? It's just a tool. And I personally like working with people. Collaborating with people is more fun when it makes sense and when it can happen, when schedules align, you understand? So to me, like I think AI can be great if it's empowering your creativity. But if you notice you can't think deeply anymore because of ChatGPT, what do you have to do? You have to stop using it in a way that erodes your thinking. Jespri says, I like that video. It was dope. Yeah, it was just a fun little storytelling video. It wasn't that serious. As you noticed, there was no sponsor in the video. It's not like I made money on the video. It's just telling the story. But we'll dive deeper on like an AI discussion another day. Let me make sure let me see, make sure my daughter didn't text me yet. No, we still good. We have Demi here. I've been listening to you for about 3 years. I just want to say thank you for being you. You most definitely helped me through college. Thank you, Demi. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. And I appreciate the people who are very gracious. I appreciate the people who just like, some people just can be so mean. I'm not even going to lie. Hi, Heinz. I always wondered what camera you use. Right now I'm using the Sony FX3. But it's overkill for this. The reason why I use the FX3 is because it has an HDMI output and it has like an internal fan. So I can live stream for a long time. You can get the same image quality with the other Sonys as well. Laura says, I like what you said there. Crave from the heart. AI or not, crave from the heart. I like that. Yeah, crave from the heart. It's like, what's your intention? I spent a lot of time this weekend watching documentaries on shokunins. These are Japanese craftsmen who like dedicate their whole life to like what they do, and like they're not motivated by money. They just see it as like a material, like as like a resource, as is like water is for rice, right? You need water to make rice. While I was watching these documentaries, I just realized like they have a spirit. They call it the shokunin spirit. They have like a spirit that I think is like lost almost in like modern creative like Western culture. Like they're just creating from the heart. They're just fully immersed in the process. They're not really worried about like who's watching and who's not. They're just every single day showing up trying to get like 5% better. I watched this one, and this guy's been making sushi since he's 9 years old. He has 3 Michelin stars. His name was Jiro. Documentary is called I Dream of Sushi. And so if he's 85 years old when I watched this, and he's been making it since he was 9, but that means he's like 76 years old at the point of making that documentary. At 76 year old, after 76 years of making sushi, he is still trying to find ways to perfect the rice. I'm like, what else can you do to perfect the rice? And I'm like, I love that. That is like true like artisan right there, craftsmanship. They call it shokunin spirit. After 76 years, he's still trying to figure out exactly how to get the rice perfect, And like, that is like the spirit I like strive to like, fully embody, you understand? And that's our intention, to crave from the heart. If I wasn't, we could be doing a lot of rage baity stuff and a lot of clout and a clickbait stuff, but we don't. What I loved about Jiro is, and I'm going to talk about this in a video, and even on Substack, because I'm starting a Substack, but he was like, yeah, I used to massage the octopus for 30 minutes, but he's like, I just changed it to 44 minutes because I realized that's the perfect texture. He's like, octopus can feel very rubbery and lack flavor, but he's like, if you massage it for 44 minutes, it releases the flavor and softens the texture. I'm like, that is the type of creativity I like. You understand? When you're just like meticulously, like, I just want to get better because you love your craft. That's why when I say our highest form of nutrition is in our expression, is like when we are creating, I believe it to be a healing modality, meaning you can learn more about yourself in the process. You can heal yourself and at the same time inspire others. It's a beautiful symbiotic relationship. It's a beautiful symbiotic relationship. I wish y'all can have some tea with me. If you want to watch that documentary, I highly recommend it. It's called Jiro, I Dream of Sushi. Michael B. Jordan actually said he didn't like sushi until he watched that documentary, and then it inspired him to start eating sushi. Barack Obama says best sushi he's had has been from this guy. So this guy's like world renowned, but what I love is his restaurant's not like this fancy bougie restaurant. It's just a restaurant inside of a train station in Japan, in Tokyo. right? Only fits like 10 people. He doesn't serve appetizers or drinks like mocktails or cocktails or nothing like that. Only sushi. Like, so you're in and you're out. And people are like, why do you do that? He's like, I only want to serve sushi. You understand? He knows who he is for and who he is not. He's not trying to please everybody. He just wants to perfect this one thing. And I'm like, that's the attitude I want to bring into what we're doing. I was asking myself, if I could only focus on one expression right now, what would it be? And I'm like, it would definitely be like live streaming and the podcasting together as like a symbiotic relationship if I had to focus on one thing. Because personally, and I feel like many of us may fall into this, sometimes we're chasing too many Easter eggs. We're going down too many rabbit holes. And sometimes you really have to simplify. Sometimes I really appreciate like a restaurant or like a food spot that doesn't have many options, Like they're like, listen, we do this one thing just amazingly well. And then you try it and you're like, oh yeah, that is bomb, I think simplicity is so beautiful. I think that's why I'm so like attracted to like Japanese culture, even China. Need some more water here. It's a beautiful thing. Don't mind the boiling water in the back. I think it's important to be mindful in the process of using AI. It's easier to lose sight of the process and just be focused on the outcome when using AI, I think. Yeah. Again, there's two types of people. There's people who are like outcome driven, and there's people who are just deeply trying to be in the process because they like producing something. They like that flow state. In the Gita, it says like, don't even think about what you will get. Don't even focus on the fruit of your efforts. Just be in the effort. That's what the destination is in every single step. So if you're using AI in a way because you're like, oh my God, like the problem is you have a lot of bad faith actors. So a lot of people will be like, oh my God, now I can cheat the system. Oh my God, now I can just do more so I can get more. So to me, it really all comes down to intention. And at the end of the day, the only intention I can be in control of is my own. And hopefully, through like speaking and the things that we do, we can inspire people to center their intention in a way that feels good for them if they're getting too far ahead of themselves or they're trying to cheat the system, which you will have that. Like the scams are going to get crazy. But at the end of the day, like I was thinking about back in the day, like before social media, and I was like, man, like information still got around. I was thinking about in my city, like how in my city there's not a lot of black kids. So like every high school in the whole lower mainland, like somehow all the black kids found each other and we would meet up. This is before we really had phones like that. Like we have phones, but we weren't like using them like that. There was no social media. But some way we found a way to connect and create community and communion. And I think regardless of what happens in the internet over the next 5 years, there's going to be a lot of negativity that happens, a lot of bad stuff because of AI. I think regardless, like humans will still find a way to prevail. And like we'll have pockets of community where we still find each other to commune. You understand? And I just have faith in that because that's what I'm going to create for myself, right? That's what I'm going to create for myself at the end of the day. So we're drinking some Emperor's oolong tea. Oolong is really beautiful. It's like wintertime right now, so like I really like the pu'er teas because they're really good for warming up your chi. But so is the oolongs. Actually, I was at a shop yesterday, a little tea shop, hanging out, and the lady was telling me just how much of a focus they have on always making sure that their energy is balanced. If it's too warm, they're balancing it out. If it's too cold, they're balancing it out. She actually gave me some like white aged tea, and she's like, this is what we drink in the wintertime. She's like, we don't drink. She's like, we don't take Advils and Tylenols. I'm like, I don't either. But she's like, we don't do that. It's like, we drink this tea. She showed me all these different things. And she's like, yeah, if our energy is a little bit too this, we drink this one. If our energy is like that, we drink this one, balance ourselves out. She kept saying, she's like, balance is very important. I'm like, you're my type of people. You're my type of people, lately I just try to find tea houses because I realize it's a little bit of a better energy than like a coffee house. Because most cafes, I realize, they don't really respect tea. They just drop a tea bag in a cup of water And there you go. But a tea house, like the tea house I was at yesterday, the lady, she's so cool. I'm gonna go back on Wednesday and go see her and hang out because she's like, yo, she's like, come back anytime and see me. I'm like, I'm coming back. Like, she was just so intentional and like mindful, and like my teacup would be empty and I'd have like I had like one of these. I had like 3 of these full because she just kept filling me up. But when my little teacup was empty, she would come by and pour it for me. Like I could pour it myself, but she's just like, no, I got you. They don't do that at coffee houses. You know? I'm like, I'm chilling at tea houses for now on. The energy is just a lot better. Energy is just a lot better, you understand? Muna says, what would you consider ethical use of AI in the creative space? It's a great question. You know, I don't think there's an answer to that. I think these are ongoing questions because this is something that is very new. I'm also not a firm believer in like, hey, let's just adopt it widespread and just use it in every single way. I think like we have to continuously be questioning, right? And like you may use it in ways where you feel it's not ethical for you and your creative process. Somebody who I like to tune into, and if I was prepared, I would pull up one of her videos or her Substack is Sinead Boval. I gotta figure out how to pronounce her name, but she's basically that girl who was a model and positioned herself and like realized she was gonna lose her job to AI like 6 years ago. And now she just launched a podcast called I've Got Questions. Real cool girl, real great perspective. And she also said, she's like, listen, AI, when people say, hey, AI is not ethical because of the climate impact, she's like, that's not on the individual. That's a systematic problem. She's like, don't be shaming people for the individual use because AI is infused in everything. YouTube, it's infused. Google, it's infused, right? It's literally on your phones now. It's everywhere, right? So I think there are like these conversations we just have to have with it. And I think when ChatGPT first came out, I think like after 2 weeks, I started to notice that like my thinking was hitting little roadblocks. And I was like, oh man, I think I'm using ChatGPT too much. Then I just stopped. And I actually find ChatGPT to be extremely annoying. So I positioned over to Claude because I find I like Claude a little bit better. Why? Claude asks questions, right? I find when I'm working with Claude, it's like I'm still thinking a lot, while like ChatGPT rushes to give you like some answer. So to me, it's like you have to ask, is this enhancing me? Or if it's not, get rid of it. The other day I went to go make some rice and I'm like, I forgot how to make rice because I use a rice cooker, well, an Instant Pot. Now, nothing wrong with an Instant Pot and a rice cooker, but I was like, yo, what if I was traveling and let's say I was in Nairobi and I didn't have an Instant Pot? I forgot how to use rice. Why? Because I've become dependent on this kitchen utility. You know, in the last 10, 15 years, there's been all these different kitchen tools to make your life easier. But I realized sometimes convenience is beautiful if it actually helps you in the short term and in the long run. But if it like helps you in the short term, but robs you of something in the long run, then you have to question it. And I think that's the same question you should have with AI. Is that like, is this helping me in the short term and in the long term? Because if it's only helping you in the short term, you might not be a critical thinker 15 months from now. You may not be able to write on your own 15 months from now. My buddy who's becoming an Islamic scholar, he told me, he's like, you're going to have people who are going to be reading the Quran or going to ChatGPT to give them their sermons, and then they're going to put on the meta glasses, and the meta glasses are going to have the scripts, and they're just going to read it. I'm like, you know what's going to happen with that? Is they're going to lose the confidence to speak, right? Y'all know me. I come on here and I just speak. There was like a time about like 2 years ago where like I wasn't feeling that creative, but I still wanted to show up. So I was like, let me write more and let me try a teleprompter. I tried using a teleprompter and I just couldn't really do it. Like it would make me lose confidence in myself and my speaking, you know? And I was like, I don't like this. Like I'm somebody who can actually speak without a teleprompter. So that's not something I would want to use. So again, I think it comes down to self-reflection. And I don't think I think it's an individual choice and your own process, right? In many ways, it can empower you. Oh, yes, it can. But in many ways, it can erode your skills as well, right? So, but I do think we should be asking questions, for sure. Asking lots of questions. Now Laura says, I avoid it personally. Yes, and exactly. Like, everybody has their own reasons. Like, do I ask ChatGPT for advice? No. Do I need like a friend companion? No. I don't. Beautiful day, beautiful day, beautiful day. Let's play some tunes. Who's in here right now? Make sure you hit that like button. Also, thank you to everybody that's been purchasing the reminder deck and posting it. I'm actually, you know what's funny? The first time we were selling the reminder deck with the first shipment, I had like a warehouse doing it, and then they kind of started falling off, not doing their job, and then I had to pull them off the shelf, and you know, we had to restock. This time I'm actually packaging them and shipping them, and I don't know why, but I get like every week I get like this really, like this sense of fulfillment. I never thought just packaging orders would feel fun. Like, I actually have fun doing it. I see and sometimes I see like the names and I'm like, oh, I know who that person is. That person's in the live streams. Like, I'll see the name, or like on Instagram, and I get like this sense of like fulfillment just sending them out. I don't know why, but I didn't get to experience that last time because somebody else was doing it for me, which reminded me, like, I love being really involved in like almost every part of my process. Like, I'm just like that type of individual who like wants to be involved in every type. Now, obviously I do everything myself right now, but like even in the future, I realize when I bring people in, it's like I never really want to just offset things to somebody else or AI, right? I just don't want to ever be like, hey, AI, go out and run the world for me. That would suck. I want to live my life and love it while I live it. Let's see what the reminder deck says. This will be the last stock, so I'm not going to restock them after because I think some things are just better left in the past. You know? It's one of my favorite cards, led by spirit, not by just ourselves. Nothing wrong with ourselves, but it's beautiful to know that we are also guided and gifted. Not just leaning on our own understanding, but man, there's so much beautiful wisdom out there. Praying for guidance this morning before I came to the studio. I had a lot to do today, and I was definitely like, I need to just get to the studio, but something in my spirit told me, is like, yo, go out into nature, go out into the mountain. It's been a minute. And then like that other part of my mind, you know, was like, no, you got to get to work. You got to do stuff. And the other part was like, no, just go into the mountain. So I drove into the mountain. I was listening to a podcast, and I felt something nudge me and say, turn off the podcast. And I just drove, stepped out, went like deep into the forest, and I just stood there. Solitude, silence. I was like, this is nice. That's nice. Reminded me, like, even if you read the Gospels, like Jesus is always just retreating, like always retreating. When he got baptized, what did he do? After that, he went and retreated. Before going and healing this person, or after healing this person, boom, he goes up to the mountain and retreats, like constantly retreating. Solitude and silence. I think moving into this next era with all this AI and all this noise and all these companies trying to steal our attention, the most beautiful thing we can do is gift ourselves silence and solitude. Solitude and silence. And if we've been living a noisy life, at first, it's going to be uncomfortable. Why? Because we have a lot of restlessness within us, like a wrestle. Our spirit is just, it's not comfortable with it. But the more, we just embrace it, you really realize, like, any type of like rushful energy I had this morning, it was gone after that. I was like, well, I don't need to rush. Why am I rushing? I realized growing up, like I'm very aware of time. I'm not somebody who is late. Like if me and you have to meet somewhere, I'm on time. I'm actually early. Most of the time it's my friends who are late. I'm a very punctual person. But I think it's because just growing up, it was just me and my mom, and we were in a rush. We were in a go. Get up in the morning, boom, she's bringing me. She got to drop me off at daycare. Boom, now she's going to work. Boom, like we were on the move. So I think just in my life, I developed I'm very aware of time, but which is a good thing. But I don't want to be in a rush. I don't want to be in a hurry. I don't like hurried energy, right? Sometimes we move with speed, intentional intensity. Nothing wrong with that. Even in that documentary I watched with Jiro, they work fast because they're so skilled. When I used to do weddings, Indian weddings, people were always shocked at how fast I was. I was really fast and very delicate because it's a wedding. So you can't be chaotic with your movements, right? You're there to embrace and capture love. And I would have to take all the footage and in the same day edit it and present it at the wedding reception, right? It's called a same day edit, where you take the whole day and you play it the same day. And then the guests are oh my God, how are we watching ourselves? This just happened 3 hours ago. And my next day edits were always top notch, beautiful, like fire. And people be how did you do it so fast? But it's because I developed those skills for so long that I was able to move with speed. Nothing wrong with speed, I realized. Speed is beautiful, right? When it's intentional. When the intensity is intentional. But when you're just rushing because you feel you're always behind and you're scattered, that is what leads to burnout. When we talk about locking in is important, but you have to lock in with attention, right? Or else you lose yourself. And we don't want to lose ourselves. We don't want to lose ourselves. Never that. Never that, never that, never that. Man, my daughter was hey, I want to go to the mall with my friend and go get a new book. I was all right, I'm not going to say no. The things my daughter asked me for is she's yo, can I get a new book? She hits me with an Amazon shopping cart and it's all these art materials because she wants to make an Iron Man mask. She's can I get this? I'm I can't say no to this. You just trying to create? You a teenager and you just create? It could be so much worse. Yeah, some teenagers are wild. Mine just trying to buy books. So I'm blessed, but I'm and it's good. She got community. Her friend is a big reader as well. Yeah, it's good. It's a beautiful thing. That's all you can hope for when you have a child, is that they have interests and they have good friends. So I move mountains. So I'm literally at the studio until she's done and she's ready. Then we'll go home. And Just B says, next day edits, you got to be passionate about your job. Sometimes I think you may not be passionate about the job, but you should still show up with a level of commitment. Actually, Jiro talked about that in the I Dream of Sushi documentary. He said, never talk negatively about whatever you're doing, your job. He's just do it, with full commitment. And I do believe in that because it's not I enjoyed. There was pockets of enjoyment shooting those weddings, but it's not overall I loved it. I didn't. But I still showed up and I still did it because I'm I want to produce good work. And any job that I had that I didn't like, what I would do is I would try to identify a skill it was helping me craft or cultivate. With the weddings, it was really a lot of different skills because I had to move fast. I had to operate 3 cameras at once. I had to pick up my editing and be fast with it. I learned how to work with 40 hours of footage because Indian weddings aren't 1 day, they're not 2 days, they're not even 3 days or 5 days, sometimes 6 days long. So I would have 40, 50 hours of footage and I learned how to edit 40, 50 hours of footage very fast. So I would be man, this is giving me so many skills that if I want to do a documentary one day, I know the process to do the documentary. So any job I have and that I hate, I always try to identify something that it might be doing for me that will be beneficial, right? Because your skills you always can take with you regardless, anywhere. That's what I tell my daughter. I'm like, listen, you're moving into a world where like a lot of jobs are going to be disappearing. The world's going to be drastically changing. What you need to do is follow your interests and develop skills. You may not know what you want to do in the world, but if you just develop skills over time, you're going to find that these skills combine in a very unique way, and then you're going to have something. So I'm like, follow your interests and just try to be really good at whatever you do by fully immersing yourself. Because I can't even tell you what the world is going to look like 5 years from now because of AI, right? Because the economies are changing. But you can follow your interests and develop your skills. And that's kind of like what I've done throughout my life. First, I was interested in audio, then it was video, music videos, and then it was speaking. Now I'm like really interested in like just simplicity design, tea, the culture, like, yeah, understand, like I want to become a tea master. Like actually that's like a real thing. You got tea masters in this world. Like I want to be like a tea master, like host like real beautiful tea ceremonies, like meditative experiences for people, which that all like kind of works together already, It's a beautiful thing. Let me get a different sound here. I've already played that sound. Let me see what else I got here. Man, I really want like I really want like a wireless setup. Like sometimes the mic gets in the way, but I bought like this TED Talk mic, like the ones that go right here, but it hurts on my ears after 20 minutes. So I'm like, it's not gonna work. And it dies like after 40 minutes. I'm like, that's not gonna work. Hey, we got Alex Ark here. Nice to see you, Alex Ark. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Book recommendations. Let's do a book recommendation. Let's see what I've been reading. Because actually just reminded me of the reminder deck, I Don't Chase, I Receive, which is really all about not sitting on our ass just thinking things are going to come to us, but not being in a hurry. I don't like hurried energy. I like intentional intensity. And I've been reading a really good book. I'm about halfway through. I'll probably be done by the end of the week because it's that good. Called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Ortberg. He's basically like a Christian mega pastor who realized like his life was just way too crazy and too busy, and he just like reverse engineered, threw in the towel, told his like church, he's like, yo, I don't want to lead this church anymore. I just want to, and he just like redesigned his life through a lot of the principles that he's grabbing from the gospel. But like, it's actually just like a really good read through like a mindful lens as well. He also like taps into different philosophies and brings them all to kind of together. So really good book. I'll probably in some live streams next week bring some concepts out of this book into the live stream. Oh, he's got Chance the Rapper in here. What? That's crazy. Why is he talking about Chance the Rapper? Oh, I can't wait to read that part. Can't wait to read that part. So that is called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Something he said here that I liked. He said, solitude is safety, isolation is escape. Solitude is safety, isolation is danger. Solitude is how you open yourself up to God, the Most High. Shit. Isolation is painting a target on your back for the tempter. Solitude is when you set aside time to feed and water and nourish your soul, to let it grow into health and maturity. Isolation is what you crave when you neglect the former. So beautiful, like matured spiritually book. Someone recommended it to me on a Zoom call last week. And they were saying that things I was talking about reminded them of this book. And then when I started reading it, I'm like, oh, this is definitely the season that I am in. I've been really just navigating like the difference between like, again, being in a hurry, but sometimes knowing, sometimes we got to pick up the intensity. Like sometimes there's a window of opportunity and it's closing and you're going to have to like go all in, you know? But it's like, how can you do that intentionally? You know, that sound was starting to bother me. We got South Africa in the building. Nice to see South Africa in the building. If y'all got some books you want to recommend, please drop them in the chat. Megan says The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. My mom, I read that book. Actually, my mom, I realize now, just reflecting back, she had so much like spiritual and like metaphysical books because she was like big on Oprah. And Oprah was like somebody who really like, well, she introduced Eckhart Tolle. She introduced a lot of people to the world, like, you know, through her channel. My mom would buy them all. So she had a lot of books. I remember seeing that book. That was before I was even into like that type of stuff. I was like still back in like my like rap days. My mom was already on those vibes. It's gonna be a good week though, you know? It's gonna be a beautiful week. We believe it, we're claiming it. We believe it, we're claiming it. It's gonna be a good week. Even if it started off rough, we're having a beautiful human experience, right? So we're gonna experience the whole range of emotions. I always say it, but like, you know, when we're having a good day, we might as well have gratitude. Because, you know, there's gonna be a bad day down the road someday. But when we're having a bad day, have a little bit of gratitude because a good day is right around the corner, right? Like life ebbs and flows. But the one thing we can do is we can still be somewhat centered, pretty centered through it, you understand? Rooted in the storm, right? Embracing the sun as well, not trying to cling too hard to either or, not allowing the praise or blame to get to our head. That's a beautiful one as well in the Gita. Take the praise and the blame in the same light. You know, just stay focused on what you are doing, just refining yourself, getting a little bit better every single day. Not just better in the bank account, but, you know, refining the character. The other day, you know how to realize, saw a video about the cost of, they didn't title this, but I'm going to make a podcast about this, the cost of community and how we've developed this culture of like ghosting people very easily. Like, you know, you make plans to meet up for, I'm not going to say tea because tea drinkers be intentional, but let's say coffee. And then like last minute, they just don't feel like it. So they cancel with like a flimsy little excuse. It happens often, right? Like since text messaging, it's just so easy to like cancel on people. And I was guilty of it as well. Until I realized, I'm like, man, that's a sign of bad character. I don't like that. Like, I don't like that part of just being like, I'm not in the mood, so I'm not going to no. So like now if I make a plan, it's like I'm just committing to it. The only way I will cancel is if like it has to do, something came up with my daughter, right? And if someone does it to me now, and it happens often, now that I have fully just committed, like if I make a plan with this person, I fully follow through. When people cancel on me, I'm just like, you gotta work on the character. Because sometimes you know when people are bullshitting, you know, like you know when they're bullshitting. Or if it's just like a complete ghost thing, and then you get like a message like the next day, like, oh, Sid, my bad. I'm like, bad character. Gotta work on that. Gotta work on that. Okay, what other books in here? We have The Alchemist by Paulo. Good book for sure. The Tao Te Ching, a must read. Yes, Lao Tzu, one of my favorites. Laura says the Yamas and the Niyamas. Love that one too. Alex says, Heinz, AI live still coming? We actually talked a lot about AI already today, but yeah, we're going to do a fully dedicated AI live stream. Rachel says, I received a book, Universe by Taylor Knight. Haven't heard of that one, so I'll keep that one on my radar. Arlene says, I'm so glad I am so glad chose me, left a toxic work environment, and live so much more happy. Nice. Cheers to leaving toxic environments right there. Cheers me through the screen. There you go. Cheers. Everybody, you know what it's like to leave a toxic environment and to be back in your peace. Oh my God, so good. Cheers to that, you know? Cheers to that. Better environments that nourish us, environments where we get to pour into ourselves, you know? Brother B says, Spiritual Liberation by Michael Bernard. Ooh, Michael Bernard sounds very familiar. Julie says, Mindset, the new psychology of success. That sounds interesting. Most things are a mindset. I find it interesting how two people could be experiencing the exact same thing, and the way you look at it completely changes the experience, right? I think one thing I'm really good at is like I'm optimistic. Like I could be going through a fire and be like, find a different angle to look at it. And even though it's hard and it's weighing you down, and sometimes you're like, oh my God, I can barely get up, but like find a different angle to look at it and then move through it. Two people can go through the exact same thing, but your perspective can completely change the experience of that thing, which I find very interesting. Mindset is so important, you know? And then the more you have like a negative mindset, that like really just develops a cycle. And then you really start to like kind of just create a more negative life. And then it's like you have to think about the type of people who like go online and spread chaos or like negativity or like all that type of stuff. It's like they're sitting in so much chaos within themselves that they just have to release it. They got to project it. They got to get it out. And it's like, that's unfortunate. Two people can be experiencing the exact same thing, but the way you look at it can completely change it. I find that to be so interesting and beautiful in many ways. Another book we have here by Michael Beckwith is the founder of the International Spiritual Center in LA. Excellent teacher. I got to tap into that. LA has such a cool like history with the ashrams and stuff like that. LA had a lot of cults back in the day. It's very interesting. Obviously, most of them just failed because that's what happens with them. Jessica says, Living Your Yoga, Finding the Spiritual in Every Day by Judith Lazatier. Hey, we got Robbie in the building. Robbie says, I drink too much caffeine. I confess I'm wildin'. Hey, at least you're honest. I drink a lot of tea, and caffeine has tea. The purer one's not so much, but caffeine from tea doesn't really affect me. Like, it's not like it wakes me up. If anything, like, you know, it does produce like a chill effect, but I don't drink pop. We got some good books in here. If anybody feels like they need a new read, something to apply their time to, maybe get away from some of the distractions online, the noise, you know, a lot of noise in the world, unfortunately. A lot of noise in the world, but we can still be centered through it, you know, create a strong foundation, you know, emit our light, you know, create a beautiful life for ourselves. And then I think that beautiful life will naturally, you know, become magnetic, and it will help others as well. You know, good energy is just contagious at the end of the day. Bad energy contagious too, because people, you know, they like negativity, you know. It's like when you're standing in the grocery line and you look to your left and they have all the tabloids and the magazines. It's always some nonsense on the front cover, you know. It's like, why can't it be something positive and beautiful? Well, for some reason, human beings were drawn to the chaos. But we can rewire that, I believe, within ourselves, where we just, you know, we rewire ourselves to prefer things that are nourishing. And That's why I think everybody that tunes in here, we are those type of people that are like, no, we like to like do things that are nourishing. You understand? We like things that are good for our life. You understand? Oh, this person's talking about this person. Ignore it. That doesn't have to deal with my life. Oh, this person. That doesn't have to do with my life. What matters? What matters? Jay Smith says, what's your daughter's name? You should not be asking what my daughter's name is. You know, you should just not be asking what her name is. If I've never said her name, the amount of times I've talked about her, clearly that is an intentional choice, Mr. J. Jasper says, you can heal your life by Louis Hay. I never heard of Louis Hay. You can heal your life. I like that though. That is true. You can heal your life. I need some more water. That's a weirdo activity. We're gonna boil some more water. We're gonna let it brew. My philosophy in life is sometimes you just gotta let it brew. Sometimes you just gotta observe. Sometimes you just gotta give it a moment. Don't sweat it. And sometimes you just gotta block certain people too. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta get certain people out of here. You know what I'm saying? Some things are just not. Yeah, it's okay. Bro just got the ban. I just banned him, so he's not gonna be commenting. Arlene says, I practice the pause a lot. I like that. Practice the pause. That's a podcast idea right there. Practice the pause. That's how all my ideas for my podcast come into fruition. Always just starts with the word. And for some reason, the word is just very like appealing to me, or like a phrase. I could hear it. Someone else could say it, or I can just hear it in my own mind. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. Let's see what is underneath that. Practice the pause is very beautiful. Practice the pause is very beautiful. That. Practice the pause, respond, not react. That's a big one. Respond, don't react. Observe, understand, be intentional. Don't create more mess or chaos for yourself. Some people don't even deserve a response, you know? Some people ain't even worth the energy. Ooh, I cannot wait for this next steam. You know what's really beautiful? I love drinking my teas out of a gaiwan, especially like a oolong. These ones are really good for the pu'er teas, but I don't have my gaiwan here. Maybe next time I bring my gaiwan. But the beautiful thing is in the gaiwan, it's like each steep will like reveal like a different layer, and like you can like really just like experience like how like multi-dimensional the plant is and like the different phases of it. So I get real excited for like multiple steeps. Which is like a great metaphor for ourselves as well. Like, you know, the longer we sit with ourselves, practice the pause, the more we reveal ourselves, learn more about ourselves. It's a beautiful thing. That's going to get loud for a second, so let me turn up the music. Yes, I have had the blooming teas. I have some at home. The flower teas, very beautiful. I find those like to be a really nice evening tea, and it's also beautiful just to watch them bloom. Uh, Very beautiful, very beautiful. Um, yeah, I have some at home. Thanks for reminding me, because I have a lot of teas at home that like I completely forget. I'm the type of person like I'll experience like something new and then I just want to like consume that one thing for like a week or two. um, Great aroma in here right now though. The leaves really opened up. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get like a third camera in here so you can get like a overview shot, you know? That'd be really nice to get a nice little overview shot. Let's pro out that one because we don't want that. We don't want the rest of that one to affect the taste of this one, you know? We want to honor the taste of that one. I love how intentional, tea drinkers are. If you go to a tea house, I wanted a new scoop, and she's like, "Well, take the glass scoop this time." I'm like, "I like the wood one." She's like, "Yeah, but the wood ones can slightly affect the taste, you know." And she like brings like the wood one to me. She's like, "Smell it." I'm like, "Yeah, I get what you mean." She's like, "The glass is not gonna have any effect on the leaves at all with the flavor. Just sometimes so you can get like an honest flavor." I was like, "I like that. I like that. That's my type of vibe, you know." We still chilling because Miss Mini Me has not texted me yet, but I can see exactly where she is. Find my iPhone. She knows that though. Vibes. We got any parents in the building? We got any parents in the chat? We got any parents in the chat? It would be nice to have aroma vision. Aroma vision. I've never heard of that before. What is aroma vision? That sounds fire. Where you can like, I think they actually did develop it. I think like a Korean or Japanese company developed something where you can smell through the screen, through some device or something like that. I think they were working on that. I mean, that's the type of tech I'm into, right? Like make the experience a multi-sensory experience through the screen. Oh man, amazing. Very, very potent. Look at that. Very beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Nice oolong. I got this white HT at home that I'm like in love with it. It was very expensive, but I'm gonna go back on Wednesday and get more. We got Nicola here, who's a mama to one. Nice, 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 nice. Joelle's mama to an 11-year-old. So 11 is, what grade is 11? 6? Is 11 grade 6? The Weather Channel got 2 daughters. Oh, you got 2 daughters, my brother. That's beautiful. We got Chad here who says, "What's up, brother? My best just sent me your way a few weeks back. Love what you're doing." Thank you, Chad. Thank you so much. Thank you for popping in. Sometimes it takes people like a year to say something in the chat. So I appreciate you popping in. Everybody on their own divine timeline. Thank you, my brother. We got Boke Days Off here. How's it going, Boke? Did you already move, my brother? I think you were moving, right, into the interior. Just Bree has a 14-year-old, November 3rd. 14, nice. So he is grade 9 or 10? It's grade 9, I would believe, right? Joelle says, yeah, 6th grade, awkward year. Yep. I think things got awkward in grade 7 on my end. 12, like 11, 12 to, yeah, 14 was weird. Boke says, I shared you with Chad. Now he's hooked. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Boke. I appreciate that. Muna says, my one and only girl is in her freshman year at college, also a young parent. Hey, wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. Freshman year at college. That's big. That's big. That must have been such a, I mean, I'm going through that now soon, but like the transition from like high school to college is like such like a whole new era. I always tell people, I'm like, yo, when my daughter graduates, I feel like I'm graduating as well. You know, like, you know, it's all about her, but there's like a sense of fulfillment. The other day, I was like, man, I'm really proud of myself that like I've been a father this long and also built like a creative thing for myself. I have a lot of friends who like did the creative thing too, and who had children, but you know, some of them left, some of them moved away from their kids and stuff like that. I was like, never like that, you know? It's like, whoa, that's not me. Everybody has their own life though, but you know, sometimes you have those moments. And you know, as parents, all parents know, like you're extremely hard on yourself because you always know where you could do better and things like that or whatnot. You can be hard on yourself. You know, we're only hard on ourselves because we know that there's more greatness within us. But I had like the other day, I was at this little cafe and I just had this like sense of like fulfillment, like just really happy for the relationship that me and my daughter have right now, happy for where we are, happy for how we've navigated the difficult things we had to go through and where we are now. Like got her grad dress a week ago. She also went on a grad boat cruise like a week ago. I picked her up. She's like in a dress and like I never seen my daughter in a dress and heels before, so it was like very emotional for me. We got her grad dresses aren't cheap. Those things ain't cheap. I did not know, but you know, it's beautiful. Like, and I'm just like, man, it's just like a very beautiful experience. I see like a lot of people online, like kind of like shit on the idea of having kids and stuff like that. And I get it. The economy is really tough and all that stuff. And like, but there's certain things about it that like you just can't explain. It's like when you're in it, you know, obviously very difficult, but there's like these moments that you get that are just like, it's a different type of love for sure. A different type of love. Different type of love. Irene has 2 daughters. Rini has 1. Daydream has 2. Lots of young parents. Shout out to young parents. Those of us that started early. We got South Africa in the building as well. That's beautiful. Very beautiful. Arlene says, watching kids grow into adults is beautiful. You know, I've always been excited for like the adult journey of being a parent too. Like when my daughter's an adult, because it's like me and my daughter have like similar, we have a couple interests that like, you know, intersect, you know, like we both love vinyl. Like we can do certain things where we both fully enjoy the moment together, you know? It's not like, it's fun. So I've always been like, I'm like, man, when she's like an adult, it'd be very cool because then it's like a whole nother dynamic of a relationship, like when we're traveling and stuff like that. It's already fun when we travel, but like, yeah, I've always been excited for like that next chapter as well, like the adult relationship, you know? Like I'm just like, I told her, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be bugging you for the rest of your life to go on multiple trips a year. So I'm like, I don't care how busy you get. We going on multiple trips a year. Like just me and you. You understand? It's a beautiful thing, man. Shout out to life though. We're loving the life that we live. While we live it, we're loving it. You know, we're not telling ourselves that we're going to be happy when, but we're happy while. Always remind myself of that. Oh, I'll be happy when this. No. I'm not going to be happy when this happens. We're cultivating happiness now, right in this moment, every single day. In the morning, what do? We first pour into our lives, pour into ourselves, pour into our orbit, whoever is in our orbit. You know, sometimes all that you have is all that you need. I always remind myself of that. Like, right now, today, I have everything that I need. You know, everything that I need today. We have everything that I need. In this moment, I have all that I need. I got y'all right now. It's beautiful. The reminder deck, jono.com. Ooh, I just remember I had to get back to the designer. You need something from me. I'm the type of person that, like, if you're in my life, you need to remind me multiple times of things, unfortunately, but I will forget, you know, I will forget. But I just remembered, so that's okay. What is this sound? I have a lot of sounds. Some of them I don't know what they are. Ooh, I like this. Damn, Just Bree, your son is 6'2"? That is crazy. He's already taller than me. That's wow. Wow, at 14? Wow, that boy gonna be, bro, he still even had, man, he gonna be tall. That's crazy. That's crazy. Art's tall. That was good. That was good. Sometimes I'm like, I wish I was taller, but I'm still 6'1". But like sometimes I'm like, you know what happens? I'll be like, sometimes I'll be in front of someone who's like 6'4", 6'5". I'm like, man, I thought I was tall. Like compared to like most, but like you're tall. Sometimes I'm like, man, it'd be kind of nice being that tall too, but I like my height. I'm like a good medium, 6'1". I am 6. I'm not somebody who lies and just says I'm 6 feet, but I'm really like 5'9". I'm actually like 6'1". Posture straight, 6'1". It's actually funny. A lot of people thought I was short because like all my videos, I'm just obviously sitting in a chair, and someone's like, I thought you were short. I'm like, why would you think I'm short? I don't know if I should take that as like, yeah, I don't know. Lately, I've been really like loving like flutes. My favorite instruments are like a lot of like West African percussion, like the mbiras and the kalimbas and stuff like that. I really think like everybody has like different sounds and instruments that like kind of like match their soul, match their spirit, and like I am always obsessed with that, finding sounds that I feel like just like matches like my inner world, like my interior depth. And more often than not, this isn't, I wouldn't, there's some African percussions in here, like sounds, but like more often than not, my favorite instruments are coming from like West Africa-ish, but I do love flutes as well. Hey, actually, that's interesting. She has a flute right there. Healed people, heal people. Right? Heal people, heal people. Break patterns, right? I love that. You're a healer in itself. The healing you are doing today. And you know what? I don't like the idea that like you're healing because you're broken, you're trying to fix something. But like really, I think healing is a lifestyle where like every day you just choose things that nourish you. You know, it's more of a way of living. It's not just, oh, I'm in my healing era. It's like, no, we choose things on a daily basis that nourish us. We eat foods that are healing, right? We listen to music that lifts our spirit. We have beautiful conversations that engage our heart. You know, it's just a lifestyle. So the healing you are doing today, the reminder card says, will heal others and create a ripple effect that will inspire and nurture your surroundings, nurture the world. Isn't that beautiful? Continue the work, my friend. You are doing great. For real. For real. Sometimes, not sometimes, more often than not, we have to celebrate the work we're doing, especially when it's a lot of internal work, because like the world is not really going to like celebrate that work. The world is going to celebrate you when you get the new job, like when you get the new house, like when they can see the shiny things, the material things, the things that manifest. But like a lot of times, like the most beautiful things we develop are within our character. And if nobody is celebrating that, you have to be celebrating that yourself for the work, for the things that you have gone through and you rose above. And there's still a beautiful new creation within you forming always, right? We're always getting a little bit better. just for the love of our humanness, you know? That is a beautiful thing. Good tea. We're drinking the Emperor's Oolong tea today. I got this one from the Iron Buddha Oolong tea. Tea Guan Yin. The Tea Guan Yin. Very good. I like this one. When I get home, I'm definitely going to be sipping on that white aged tea again that I had earlier this morning. Very beautiful tea. Tomorrow there's a video. I gotta shoot a video. I haven't posted a video in like 3 weeks. Actually, I like what you just said there. Julie, healing should not be a burden. That's exactly the language I was looking for. Is I don't like when it's like used as like this burden, like, oh, I'm healing. It's like, it's just like a lifestyle, you know, it's like the way we live is healing. You understand? When people leave your presence, they're like, man, that felt good, you know, because this is like, you're magnetic, you got good energy. You pour into yourself. So when people are around you, they feel that same energy, you know, pour into them as well. And it's contagious, you know, and they're like, damn, they're like, I need to pour into myself a little bit more. You know, it's definitely contagious, beautiful energy. Sometimes the reminder deck card says it's better to be felt and not just seen, especially in a world where everyone is so addicted to being seen because of social media. And obviously I'm on social media as well. But that's why I like to do these live streams, because I feel like the live streams are like the best way for y'all to feel me, because I'm like here for like, how long have I been here? I've already been here for an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? I've been here for an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a good amount of time. And like you tune in consistently, it's like a good amount of time to get like a sense of me. Versus a short, you know, someone can be like, oh, like, who is this guy? Oh, he's a fraud, blah, 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 blah. But you sit down with somebody, you get to know them, and you're like, oh, okay. You know? They're like, I feel you. Because it's better to be felt and not just seen. That's why I always say you might as well be yourself undeniably, so the ones that love you can come closer, the ones that don't can go somewhere else. I really just been loving, I became friends with this one shop owner down the street who is also like a big tea guy. So we really bond on tea. We're actually coming out with a drink this winter in his shop. It's gonna be like a cacao drink. I actually gotta go there this week and refine the recipe with him. And what I love about his cafe is the other day we're like testing cacaos out, because again, we're making this like hot chocolate drink to put on the menu. It's gonna be like a Heinz special. And this girl walks in and she's like, oh, can I get like an Americano? And he's like, oh, we don't sell coffee. She looks around. She's like, but this is a cafe. He's like, yeah, I don't sell coffee, right? Now I go there because he's got like amazing tea and like, you know, food. I'm like, oh, I didn't know he didn't sell coffee though. I'm like, oh, you don't sell coffee? And he's like, no, I don't like coffee. He's like, I like tea. He's like, I want to sell things that I like. He's like, it's a certain energy I'm trying to bring out. And I'm like, I love that. You know, he's not trying to be for everybody, because he probably make a little bit more money selling some coffee. But he's trying to invite people like me, people who love tea, people who like the quality a little bit, you know? And I love that. You understand? He's just like, I know who I'm for and who I'm not. And he's standing on that. And I love that. Anything I've been experiencing as of lately where I'm like, oh, this person or like this business isn't just trying to be everything for everybody, but they really know what they're trying to do and just owning it. I love that. I love that energy. You know, like they're not sacrificing. They're just being like, listen, this is what I'm bringing into the world. This is my offering. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. That's okay too. I always say, like, imagine, like, this would suck. Like, imagine like you, like, I don't know, like create like a whole friendship group or create like a whole community around like, I don't know, like a fake version of yourself. Now you actually have like a whole community keeping you accountable to be fake, you know? Like that would just be a nightmare. You had to be this other person because you created a community around. That would suck, you know? So it's like being yourself is like the best repellent, like truly. Because if people don't like you, I always say like this, When I started my like content creation journey, like taking it more seriously, like where I was speaking on camera, I was like, my attitude is that I am sashimi. Why did I use sashimi? Well, I find sashimi to be a very interesting food. It's raw. So like you either love it or you hate it. Like my dad, he hears raw fish and he's like, none of that. Nah. He's just like disgusted by it, you know? And sashimi is like one of those things, like you don't just like, you're not like just like mild about it and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go eat some sashimi. No, like you really like it if you're gonna be ordering it because it's expensive, right? This is one of those things. You either love it or you hate it. And so I like told myself, I'm like, I'm sashimi. People are either gonna get it or they're not. And that's okay. The people who love it are gonna love it. The people who hate it, they're gonna hate it. And I've experienced that. I've experienced people who be like, man, I just love the vibes. And I've been experienced people who be like, man, I don't get it. It's not for me. I'm like, of course, it's just sashimi. You understand? You either love it or you hate it. That's cool. Be yourself undeniably. So the ones that love you can come closer. The ones that don't can move. And it's so like exhausting when you have to entertain people that like you're not really even trying to be around. But like, you know, it's just, that's exhausting. It's exhausting for the spirit and for the soul. Very exhausting. I might get some sushi for dinner now. Yo, my daughter better not have ate without me. That would be crazy if she ate without me while I'm waiting for her. Jonathan says, in my city, there was a really cool Chinese tea place. It was so great, but that was almost 10 years ago. There's incredible people who do drink a lot more tea today. That's great. Like a good one, for sure. Loving these nightly sessions, by the way. Most of the tea places in my city are exclusively milk teas, not my vibe. Yeah, I don't do the milk teas. You know what's interesting though? Like my favorite little tea house in my city, I've lived in my city my whole life pretty much, right? I moved here when I was 6 years old, and I did not know this place was here. I've been drinking tea for 10 years. I did not know this one place was here. I walked by it the other day. I was like, I didn't know this was here. I was like, yo, is this new? She's like, nah, I've been here for like a decade. So like maybe in your city, there is something that you're not fully aware of, but maybe there's not, you know? Kind of depends. Like if you live in a big city, like I met this guy the other day who has a tea farm in Korea, and he's like, yo, when you come to New York, he's like, I'll bring you to some tea houses. He's like, we got some underground ones. I'm like, you got underground tea houses? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's the vibe I'm trying to tap into. That's gonna be my new thing, because I love going to like a cafe and like doing a little bit of work and like writing, but my new thing is like, I'm going to the tea houses because it's just better than the coffee houses. That's just my personal opinion, you know? Yes, Oscar. And NYC underground tea houses. Dominique says, oh man, I missed the whole, man, Dominique, you missed an hour and a half. Yeah, Dominique, you weren't here. You're usually here quite early. We still got like another 2 steeps in this for sure. For sure. Man, I seen on Twitter they were cooking Tyler the Creator for his past. I was like, man, Tyler's growing a little bit. Let's embrace him. I like Tyler, but they're going in on bro. It's gonna get a little bit loud right here. I'm gonna mute my mic. old. That'd be cool if like. No, I mean, I was gonna be like, I wonder if you could like customize the boiling sound somehow. Nice. Definitely still get another really good steep out of this one. What were they saying about Tyler? Well, they're just bringing up old tweets and stuff like that, but they do that every year. But this one was kind of more intense because they were getting more stuff. But I don't know, it's all good, The internet's always doing something with somebody. There's a new pinata every week. It's just kind of how it is. Just B says practice the pause. Yeah, I like that. I think that's what we're kind of leaving with today is to practice the pause. We let that steep a little bit. Why not? Very nice, very nice. Very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. Actually, one of the shops down the street blessed me with these. I love these, especially the material. That just goes with my aesthetic. Just very beautiful pieces. Better than like the aluminum ones. This is natural materials. In Jamaica, it's like in Jamaica. You haul out coconuts for bowls and stuff like that. I mean, keep on listening to his music. Don't turn on him. Just embrace his artistry. It is what it is. It will blow over in a couple of days. Somebody said, "What's my go-to teas?" Right now, it's the pu'er teas. Pu'er teas. Pu'er teas. I got Actually, I don't have any with me. I already drank what I have. I have like a beautiful little setup at home right now that I really like, and I've completely like changed like I got these like, I just like my setup at home right now. It's very low to the ground. I got tatami mats and I like positioned the couches around the tatami mats, and it's like a big living situation on the floor. I basically live on the floor at home. I like it though. Very cozy the way I have it set up. I'll have to do a video on it one day. I vibe with the minimal furniture. I like modular furniture. I realize like I'm the type of person that my living space needs to change as I change in the season. And so I every kind of item I bought in so far in my home, like 90% of things is modular. I even got even my desk is the only sit, stand, and floor desk. So It sits, you can stand, but you can also lower it all the way to the floor. There's, from my research, there's only one that's been made, and I got it. They wouldn't even ship to Canada. I had to drive to America to pick it up across the border. But I love modular setups, and I sleep on my tatami mat, so tatami mats are on the floor. But I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
Peace, I like peace. I like peace. I like peace.
That's a vibe.
Peace. I like peace. Peace, I like peace. Peace, I like peace. I like peace. I like peace.
Man, peace is a top priority. I like peace for sure. You ever like just look at your life? You'd be like, yo, my life is peaceful right now. I love that feeling. I had that feeling like yesterday. I'm just like, yo, life is really peaceful right now. Life is really blessed. You ever just have like a moment, you're just like, oh man, it's a lot of gratitude for life right now. A lot of gratitude for life right now. That is a beautiful feeling. Oh, GearTube, don't worry. We actually talked about AI earlier. So if like later, another time you want to run back the live stream, I think like the first 30 minutes or so, we were kind of talking about AI, but I will do a dedicated AI live stream where I'll pull up some resources and materials and some things we can tap into. I wanted to do it last week, but I actually wasn't here really much that last week. We had a lot of other things to take care of randomly. Things pop up sometimes. Just do the best you can while you can. Can't control what happens in life, but we can control how we respond. So that was last week, different things just popped up. Oscar says, feeling grateful even in the midst of this unstable point in life. That is really, what I've learned in my own life is like, if you can cultivate that attitude right there, feeling grateful even in the midst of this unstable point in life, if you can cultivate that, you win in life. If you can navigate uncertainty, you are good. I mean, we have a card in the reminder deck that mentions this, where Because I always say I'm like almost like romantic about uncertainty sometimes, because uncertainty is a gift. Often when like we are in a season of uncertainty, sometimes we'll allow the mind to think of all the bad things that could happen. But I like to have a practice and be like, man, beautiful things could happen too. Yeah, you may lose your job, be at a crossroad of, pain, but really it's like a crossroad of great change. And in my life, I've noticed a lot of the times, in a season of uncertainty when I didn't even know what I should do, where I am going, I stopped focusing on that and would just try to fall in love with my becoming. So like, let me be more present here and just like embrace this and have questions. The back of the card says, uncertainty has the spirit of a child. How are children? They're curious. They ask a lot of questions. Are we there yet? Why is the sky blue? Where do babies come from, right? When you ask questions, what happens, right? It means there's opportunity. You're curious of life. You're opening life up. You're saying, hey, I want to learn more. I want to know more. So that is a beautiful energy in itself. It is a gift. Embrace it. If you can truly, what I've learned in my life is like, if you can truly cultivate that attitude that Oscar said, navigate uncertainty, oh my God, with so much grace, life gets a lot easier. Doesn't mean that we're not going to go through hard shit, because life is hard and there is a lot of suffering in life. Let's be honest. Sometimes life is just slapping you upside down. It's really unfortunate. But man, if you can cultivate that attitude, uncertainty, it's a very beautiful thing. It gives you a perspective and everything you need to succeed, and you're more open. You're more open to possibilities, I love that feeling. I love that feeling of, man, my life can go in a whole other direction, in a beautiful, even a more beautiful direction. And something could happen tomorrow that could completely change your life. That is reality. You could meet somebody tomorrow that is like a very pivotal person in your life, positively or negatively, but let's try to focus on the positive. And that's what I love about uncertainty, is the possibility, because sometimes life gets a little mundane too. So nothing wrong with a little shakeup when you don't know how things are going. Not focused on where we're going, but falling in love with who we are becoming. So not so focused on the destination, but just falling in love with ourselves and who we are becoming on our way there. We're going to get there, whatever it looks like. Sometimes we don't know where we're going. I've been there. Always remind ourselves we're not lost. We're exactly where we need to be. I love how the reminder deck does that. Like, I'll be talking and then the next card perfectly aligns for the conversation. Very beautiful. We are not lost. We are exactly where we need to be, falling in love with our becoming. Like I always say, sometimes when we're searching for clarity, and you're really wrestling with it, it means a breakthrough is about to come, which is a beautiful thing. When you're like really like, oh my God, I need a little bit more clarity, it means a breakthrough is coming, but you're just not ready yet. You're just not there yet. Keep questioning, keep going through the journey, keep experiencing. It's a beautiful thing. Like even this month, my goal was like, I had a different goal this month, and the month ended up being very different, but I got so much clarity this month on different things I've been thinking about for like, I'll be honest, like 24 months. This month was a big clarity month. Last week, I had a lot of thinking time and so many things came to me and I was like, boom, breakthrough, boom, breakthrough, boom, breakthrough. Oh, beautiful. Oh man, that makes sense now. Oh, I know what I want to do with this. Oh, that's amazing. You understand? I'm like, divine timing. The answer will arrive when you create the right environment and when you are ready in divine timing. You gotta have that trust. Gotta have that trust that God is working everything out for you behind the scenes. You understand? And we just need a reminder sometimes. That's why we do reminders here. I'm not like too gung-ho on like new information sometimes. Sometimes I just want a reminder. Remind me of the things that I forgot. Remind me of the things that bring me balance, Remind me of the things that center my spirit, Remind us. What does it say in the Bible? Everything's already been revealed under the sun. Everything has already been said under the sun. We're all just kind of regurgitating the same lessons through our own story, which is cool because we have unique stories. The greatest story you will ever know is the one you're experiencing yourself, right? You're the main character, the producer, the director, the editor, the writer. Any moment in life you can like literally just flip the page and be like, you know what? I want to change this story up. Let's go in a different direction. You know, nobody else is writing this life for you but you. If you don't write it, someone else is going to try to do it for you. For sure. But the greatest story we will ever know is the one that we are living ourselves. I love that. I love that. More tea? Yes, I think so. More tea. Oolong Emperor tea. That was the last of it. So we went through that. We got about like 10 grams in here. We got about 10 grams in there. I spent a lot on tea this month. That's good though. I like that. We're having fun. Jacob says, we have lived so many things we forget. So yeah, sometimes really like, and you know what I love too is that, you know, sometimes you may think like, oh, like this isn't important to say because you're like, this is common knowledge, this is common sense. But sometimes for some reason, the way you say it, when you say it, that individual may just receive it. You know, like I've told this story so many times, but like one time I was down and out 10 years ago, down and out. And I'm listening to a Bob Marley song. And in the song, he says, Rastaman, live up, never give up. So simple. He just says, don't give up. But for some reason, just the moment where I was, the way he said it, I felt it in my spirit. And I literally just like, I flipped the page and I changed my life like through the next step that I took. And every single step, that step was rooted in change. That step was rooted in healing. And it was beautiful. And then fast forward 10 years later, I then get to do a video for Bob Marley's YouTube channel. Beautiful story. Like that's this amazing full circle moment. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I mean, like, you can't make that shit up. But sometimes the way you say something and the tone and the cadence will just resonate a lot more for somebody. So that's why like I have like no shame in saying like simple things, bringing reminders, because it's like maybe the way I say it today may just resonate very differently for that person today. It's just the thing that they needed to hear, you know? Like we're all just reflections of one another. So it's just like, hey, like boom, here's that reminder. Boom, you giving me a reminder. Boom, oh, thank you. We're just mirroring. We're all experiencing the exact same emotions, just in our own experiences, but we all go through the human. That's what I think is so interesting about being a human. Is like, if I speak on joy, you understand what joy is. If I speak about anger, you know what anger. You can go to a situation in your life where you were angry. If I experience about like loneliness or loss, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You didn't go through the exact loss that I went through or the sadness I went through, but you went through it in your own way. So it's like, regardless, it's like we're having a very similar experience in our own unique ways. So that's why I'm always like, listen, if you speak about something that is timeless and like a reminder, you know, just like something that is real, people are gonna connect with it. And they may connect with you just because of your tone, your cadence, your frequency, time and place. So don't ever jinx yourself, you know, from like bringing value into the world. Some people think it's like cheesy to like be positive and stuff like that. Some people like try to be like edgy, like purposely try to be edgy, or like I'll see people like who like purposely like swear in their content to seem edgy. I'm like, I could tell that like you want to be positive, but you don't want to be too positive. So you just drop in a lot of swear words at the same time. Like you could just be positive. You don't got to swear all over the place as well to be like cooler. You know what I'm saying? Like in my mind, it's cool to be like, you know, positive about things and to bring things into the world that like are beneficial. That's why I love Bob. Bob was like, his music was cool, it was positive. You understand? He didn't drop a single song that was meant to be destructive for people. Everything was meant to uplift people. That's why I like Bobby McFerrin. His music, no words, but same thing. He's just like, I'm trying to uplift people. Nothing wrong with spreading a little bit of light, you know? More tea, please. You know what's crazy too? In my beginning content, if you're like a day one, or you've like traveled back and watched those like first videos, I would always slurp my tea very loud. And some people would get really angry. They're like, oh, can you stop doing that? It's so rude. So anyways, when I go have tea the other day with this Chinese tea master, and I'm like, teach me everything you know. Within an hour, like, you know, obviously there's so much you know, but in this 1 hour session. And he's like, yes, when you take a sip of tea, he's like, it's proper etiquette and respect to slurp loud. I was like, I didn't even know that's what y'all do. I didn't even know that's what you do in China. He's like, yeah, you got to slurp it loud. I'm like, I was like, I've been doing that. And people would get upset. Some people were like, I'm like, yo, I got to be me. I got to appreciate the tea. But I didn't even know that was a thing. He's like, yeah, slurp loud. That's what we do. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. He's like, you get more flavor in there. You know what I'm saying? Do you think it is human to be negative and relate? And yeah, for sure. I mean, you're going to have negative moments. You're going to have negative experiences. You're going to have seasons where you're just more negative. That is a part of the human experience. You know, you have the nighttime, you have the daytime. I just think you have to be mindful. You're not dwelling forever. You know, like at some point you got to be like, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. It happened. It's time to move on. It's time to create a new reality for myself. Yes, that happened. Yes, whatever, but it's time to move on. Or you can dwell in it forever and nothing changes. But of course, we're going to be negative some days. You understand? Of course, we're going to have seasons where like, hey, you know, things are a little bit dim. It happens, you know? But let's not dwell there forever. You know, like the avatar of like a cranky old uncle who's just bitter? That's like decades of dwelling where it becomes like truly a part of his spirit, right? He's embodied being bitter, embodied not trusting anybody, embodied just seeing the negative in things, right? And then that's why they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, is that like when you practice a mindset for so long and then you get into your 50s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, some people, unfortunately, yeah, they fully embodied a way of living that's not really that good for them. But it's just like, you know, unfortunately life experiences happen and now they see life in a very dim light. And I just never want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? I just never want to be like that. So I believe in picking ourselves up. I believe in picking ourselves up. Why not? We might as well, you know? We might as well. We got Tabitha in the building. How's it going, Tabitha? Yes, especially in places like China and Japan. Yeah. And I specifically remember people in my comments telling me I was rude. You're so rude for slurping. And I'm like, this whole time I was actually respecting the tea comes from China, let's be honest. I was respecting the culture. Intuitive. You understand? Intuition. I must have known deep down. I just didn't have like the full knowledge of it, you know? So Jacob says, you can tell there is still such a desire to experience a positive even in those people. Yeah, for sure. Because I do, but yeah, I like that. I'm gonna just leave it how you said it. That was beautiful. Such a desire to experience a positive even in those people. I do know people though, like I do have people in my family who like just like don't trust anybody, and they will just like think the worst of people right away. And I really try to be like, yo, you gotta stop that. Like they'll just always think someone is trying to get one over on them. And they had some bad experiences, so I get it. But I'm like, you have to also recognize there's good people too in the world, you know? There's people that aren't trying to get one over on you. You know? Mindset is so important. I think we mentioned that earlier, that two people, I just really like that two people could be going through the exact same thing, but your perspective completely changes your experience of it, you know? Okay, y'all. Okay, y'all. That's looking like our time. I texted my daughter like 30 minutes ago. I'm like, it's time to wrap it up now. I want to go home. Time to wrap it up. Man, we had a beautiful session today. Random session. I questioned coming on because I'm like, I don't really have nothing to talk about, but you know, we created conversation. That's why I like doing these live streams, because it's just like, I don't know, sometimes it's like doing YouTube videos. It's like idea, thumbnail, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I much prefer this. So I appreciate you for tuning in, for toning in. It's beautiful energy today, beautiful group of people. Love it. Yeah, and I'll see you next time. I'll let the music ride out for a second, you know.